Stop dreaming about Rome, because right now it looks like this. The Eternal City is currently facing a breaking point. Hotel prices in Rome are breaking records. Official tickets sell out months in advance, and the crowd sizes will genuinely test your patience. It begs the brutal question that most travel experts are too afraid to answer honestly. Is Rome still worth your time and money, or has over-tourism completely ruined it? In this video, I'm going to go over the ugly side of Rome right now, including hidden traps designed to drain your wallet. But I'm also going to give you the exact blueprint you need to rescue your trip. I'm Gary with Optimal Travel. Let's get started. Rome is one of the most popular cities on the entire planet. And if you've never been to Italy, it would be crazy to tell you not to visit Rome. But over-tourism has taken its toll, and the city now feels like a big can of sardines. Everywhere you want to go to see the most famous sites, you're packed in, and it's hard even to maneuver, much less get a good photo or even see the sites up close. Unless you're willing to wake up at 5 a.m. and head to something like the Trevi Fountain before the major crowds get there, you're going to be packed in. The good news is all of Italy is not like this, and if you venture outside the major tourist attractions, you can have a great time, even in Rome. But there are other factors that make Rome less accessible today than it was a decade ago.
Sometimes I wonder if it's still worth it to visit Rome when it's so crowded. I mean, I know it's beautiful, but is it worth it?
The first problem is the ticket crisis. You need tickets to get into all the major sites you hear about in Rome, like the Colosseum or the Vatican. And these tickets tend to sell out months in advance, especially during the busy tourist season. And if you don't buy them well before you even get on that airplane, you're going to be out of luck, or you're going to be paying some private operator who bought tickets 6 months ago triple the price just to get a skip the line ticket from them. The old days of just showing up in Rome, walking around, seeing the sights from the outside, and then maybe deciding, yeah, I want to go inside the Colosseum, let me get a ticket, are gone. You can't do that. There's just too many people, and the lines for those tickets are crazy, and in most cases, they'll be sold out before you even get to the line. The second problem has to do with rising costs. In Rome in particular, especially any areas surrounding the major historical sites, you're going to face obscene prices. Now, Italy in general as a country is relatively cheap. All throughout Italy, you could find a great pasta dish for between 10 and 12 euros. In Rome, if you don't know where to look, you could end up paying 25 to 30 euros, and it's not even the best pasta Italy has to offer. Hotel prices have gone crazy, especially during the popular tourist months. An Airbnb can run you above $300 for one night. And the third problem is that Rome has become full of scams and traps that feed off of their over-tourism. You have a ton of aggressive vendors there trying to get your business, even restaurant barkers on popular streets near the attractions. And the reason they're out there yelling at you to come and eat in their restaurant is because they don't get the locals there. They need tourists, and it's probably not worth it. And then you have a growing pickpocket problem exacerbated by the over-tourism, and restaurants are feeding off of this frenzy as well, raising their prices all around the tourist hotspots. And if you don't know any better, you end up paying double or triple for a meal that is of a lower quality. While unfortunately all of these elements tend to thrive in big cities where there is heavy tourism, there is a way around some of it. In a minute, I'm going to get to a blueprint that can help you do Rome while avoiding some of these major headaches. But you must be wondering why over 22 million people still flock to Rome every year amid all of these issues. And the answer is that Rome is a living museum. You're walking on history that shaped the Western world here, and everybody wants to feel that. Now, there is a lot you can do in Rome for absolutely free, no tickets needed. If you like to just stroll along the streets and get that historic feel, you can walk right by all of the major attractions, the major historical places, and see them from the outside for free. You don't really need to go inside to experience that history, and all of the basilicas and churches are generally free to enter. And there are many open-air ruins in Rome that are viewable from the street and accessible to everyone without a ticket. And these are much less crowded because everybody is fighting to get into the Vatican or the Colosseum or the Trevi Fountain. But people don't see the other history there, and there's a ton of it. And there are a lot of underground experiences where you can see ruins and other parts of history that most tourists miss because they're not in that top 5 list. Tickets for those you can just walk up generally and get, or get the day before you want to see them. One big one goes right under the Trevi Fountain. So instead of battling all the crowds above, you can go right underneath and see the aqueducts under there. And they limit the crowds into that space. So it will have tourists in there, but it won't be like the Trevi. Another one is at Piazza Navona. They have a huge underground complex there. You do have to pay to go into that, but it's not expensive and it's not anywhere near as crowded as the Colosseum. And then there are incredible neighborhoods like Trastevere that you can walk around and get a real Italian feel right in Rome. This is where the locals go to eat, and the food there is incredible. You can find many high-end restaurants there, but you can also find some incredible pasta for $10 to $12 a plate. And the great thing is, these neighborhoods like Trastevere are about a 15-minute walk away from central Rome. So it's not that hard to get to, and if you don't want to walk, you can take the bus or the subway. Because tourism is overtaking Rome, once you've seen it, it's time to explore some other areas of Italy. There are a lot of places you can go with much less crowds, especially if you head to the south. Regions like Puglia and Calabria still get tourists, but nothing like you're going to experience in Rome. And there are incredible ruins and sights to see there. You can take a trip to Sicily. You can head up north to some of the farm country, even up to the Dolomites. They get tourists, but you're not going to experience the chaos that you do in Rome.
If you want to go to Rome, but you have a couple of days to spare and you don't want to deal with crowds, I recommend that you visit Ostia. Ostia has 2 different things. One is the Lido with all the beaches and is the port side, and the other one is Ostia Antica, which is similar to Pompeii, but not as popular. So you can really have a good day if you're around there.
Now, if you've never been to Rome, yes, it's still a must-see. And I'm going to give you a blueprint next on how to do it while avoiding some of these headaches. But first, if you would take a minute and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow and we'll continue bringing you travel content. There are 3 main rules I follow when going to Rome, which will help you avoid most of these headaches. The first one is the timing. When you go to Rome makes a bit of difference. Now, I've had people tell me that they were in Rome in the middle of December and still had to fight for space at the Trevi Fountain. And that's true. Depending on when you go, especially around holiday periods, it's gonna get packed again. But the best time to go to avoid crowds is either in November or February or March. The weather's a little cooler, but you're not going to Rome for the heat. In fact, the cooler weather will actually be welcome, because standing out with all these crowds and seeing all these outdoor sights in the middle of the summer in Italy can be quite exhausting. Not only will the crowds be less, but prices drop, especially for hotels, because less tourists come during those months. So you can find a decent hotel in the middle of Rome for somewhere around 150 euros during those months, where in the summer it might be double that price. And this timing works well for the other major cities tourists usually target, like Florence or Venice. If you go to those in the summer, you're going to face the same problems as Rome. But if you go there during the off season, you'll have a breeze and avoid a lot of the extra tourist fees like the ones they're charging in Venice now for day passes in the summer.
When do you think is the best time to visit Rome? Let us know in the comments below.
The second thing you must do in order to avoid waiting in long lines or missing out entirely on sites you really want to see is book your tickets in advance. This needs to be done at least 60 days before your trip, especially if you're going to places like the Colosseum or the Vatican. If you're going there in the summer, you might need to book that 6 months out. But for the off season, 30 to 60 days will usually suffice. Book those tickets on the official website for those sites. The official website will usually end in .it or .va if you're trying to book the Vatican. That's the way you'll know it's the actual country's site and not some third party trying to resell you tickets at a higher price. And you can plan your entire Rome itinerary around when you have those tickets, because they'll be timed on specific days for a specific hour. And you can figure out everything else you want to do around that. It's a great way to plan your trip and avoid a lot of these headaches.
What we do in Rome is that we usually go for either the first tour in the day or the last tour of the day, because then there's less people, it's not as sunny, and we can enjoy the rest of the day doing something else without the crowds.
And the third thing I always do is book outside the city center. Now, I'll admit, I've stayed in hotels and Airbnbs in the middle of Rome, but it's kind of hectic there. It gets noisy and it's more expensive. And because of the Rome metro system, you can find hotels within walking distance outside of the center of the city near a metro stop, which makes it easy to get to and from the sites in the city that you want to see, but allows you to get a decent accommodation at a much lower price. I personally have stayed both in San Giovanni and Piazza Bologna, and they are a little bit outside the city, but right near metro stops, and they have very nice accommodations that are actually affordable. So is Rome still worth it? Yes. It's one of the greatest cities on earth, and if you haven't been there, you can't skip it. But you can use some of this advice to make it a better trip for you. It's no longer a destination where you can just wing it. If you don't plan, you'll end up with an expensive, stressful nightmare. If you've been to Rome, let me know in the comments if you think it's overrated, or do you hit it up every time you come to Italy? So now that you've got a blueprint that can actually make Rome worth it, a lot of travelers to Italy make some key packing mistakes that end up costing them a lot of money. I'll tell you how to avoid those right here.